Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host Terry, and today talking real quick about the reports that Kevin White is doing really well in minicamp in the offseason. So if you have not heard our favorite topic, Kevin White has has been getting praises not only from the coaches, the receiver coach and Matt Nagy, but also from the reporters that have seen him work out and everything else. Now, I'm just sitting here and saying that he's having a good off season. I'm not going to dig into the hyperbole, or at least I'm not going to call it hyperbole, but other people have said things such as Kevin White has been a beast this offseason. Kevin White has been the best receiver this offseason. Kevin White looks like a totally different player this offseason. So those are some of the things people are saying. I'm not going to go as far as all of that, but the fact is that everybody seems to agree Kevin White has looked good this offseason. And so I kind of just want to talk about that, but also the more important question is about Kevin White starting this year. So let's start with the offseason. Let's start there. Is it possible that Kevin White looks good this offseason? Absolutely it is. Number one, there's not much to go but up from here. And you got to think about not just the fact that he didn't play a lot of games. We know the preseason and the few regular season snaps, people have talked about, well, based on what I've seen, Kevin White is this. Okay, fine. But Kevin White has also had plenty of off-season reps and practice and mini camps and training camps, all that. And so people, players, reporters, coaches, they've got to see what he can do. And while we felt like there's a lot of potential there, we never got to see it on the field. But people never were like, Kevin White's the best receiver hands down in camp, or Kevin White really looks like he can do X, Y, Z. It was always more of he's an athlete, he's athletic, he's in good shape, blah, blah, blah. This is the first time we're hearing about football stuff. Like he can run really sharp routes. He's looked good catching the ball away from his body. He's made some 50-50 catches, all those good things. So these are things that we haven't really heard before. Another thing you got to look at, this is a new coaching staff. This coaching staff hasn't really seen him. The defense has seen him before, so if you hear guys from the defense and that saying Kevin White looks different, you could listen to that. But with Nagy them, it's a little bit of a grain of salt because they have never been around Kevin White, and there's not enough tape to know what Kevin White can do. And so for them, they might just be in awe of the athleticism, or they might be like, okay, this is what we expected him to look like, even though he never looked like this before. So we don't know. But we talk about the reporters. That's the big thing, the beat reporters. If you listen to the radio, Jeff Dickerson, one of the big beat reporters, or you read the Tribune, whatever, these guys that have been around Kevin White these few years, and they're saying that, the thing that really catches me is not, oh, Kevin White looks good, or Kevin White made 8 catches on blah. No, they're talking about individuals. Oh, in individuals, he's doing this. On this drill, he's doing this. When I hear football stuff like that, that's when I know it's a little more real. Person knows what they're talking about, and that those are the things that really matter. I mean, it all matters, but people sometimes just want to hear stats, and we already know how I feel about that. But when you're talking about the drills, the route running, the angles he's cutting at, picking up the playbook, all of that goes into effect. And so the fact that these reporters are getting to see it and they're like, he looks different. He's as fast and athletic, but it looks more professional and crisp now. That goes a long way for me. Also, you got to take into account, this is a new playbook. I wouldn't say a lot of receivers are catching up. They are, but these are new receivers anyway. Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, Benny Fowler, Anthony Miller, none of them were here last year. So, we can't really gauge it that way, but we can say they're all learning at the same time. And that Kevin White is really picking up and doing well. That does say something. But maybe the other receivers just the slow learners and they're going to look better. Who knows? And then another thing you got to think about, Allen Robinson's not participating fully. He's still recouping from injury and they don't want to rush it. So he's not out there. And really it's not a competition. So what if Allen Robinson was out there and Kevin White looked like the best receiver in minicamp? So what? I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of whatever. But at the same time, you still got to take into account Allen Robinson's not out there, so Kevin White's doing his thing. And really, if Allen Robinson is out there and you throw a 50-yard bomb into double coverage and Kevin White makes a 50-50 catch between two people, that has nothing to do with Allen Robinson. And so it's all about what Kevin White is doing. And the fact that Kevin White is out there performing is a big deal. Oh, I'm sorry, not a big deal. It is something to note and it's something to accolade towards him, not other people. So there is that. We talk about kind of what he's doing. Now, I can't verify, I wasn't there, to what these people might think is good and the media might not be that great, to what the coaches might think is good, might not be the same to me. Who knows? Yes, they're NFL coaches, but we all see the game different. But it is worth just talking about. So like I was saying, is it possible? Of course it is. People get better. As I've always said, it takes about 3 years before you want to judge a rookie. Not to mention, or judge a player. Not to mention Kevin White hasn't been playing. And I talked about this in a video and it's still probably getting comments to this day. It still does. People want to talk about Kevin White being a bust. But I've talked about it. We don't know. He's a question mark. He's not really a bad or a good player. He's a question mark. And so it's possible that he's gotten better and that he's been working out this season. Now, speaking of working out, I'll put the picture up for like a quick second. We all remember this picture. Kevin White or his dad posting this picture saying, man, look at my son. He going hard this all season. So yes, Kevin White obviously is in great shape. He's athletic. He's explosive. But we're talking about as far as getting better as a football player, it is totally possible that he has really dug in. And it is a make or break year. As much as some people don't acknowledge it, the contract year means a lot and it can do great things for a player. And so maybe he's focused up and he's ready to deliver. Now, the bigger question I think people should talk about is Kevin White being the starter. Cause we hear Kevin White and, people are creatures of habit. They get used to just laughing. Ha, Kevin White. Ha, he's a bust. Ha, Kevin White sucks. Oh, Kevin White is this. We love memes. We love all the internet jokes. And so we just get used to that. But the fact of the matter is, Kevin White most likely is going to be our starter this year. And as much as we are singing praises, we got a new offensive coach. We got a new receiving core. The Bears in a different direction. Kevin White might be one of our starters. And I'm not saying this as a panic or a bad thing. I'm still waiting to see what he can do. But I got to prepare people who are just dismissing the fact that Kevin White could be one of our starters. So yes, Allen Robinson upgrade. All the other things we did upgrades. But that doesn't mean Kevin White might not be in the lineup. Because you talk about our outside receiver opposite Allen Robinson, who's starting there? So while you're laughing, who's starting there? That's my question. You talk about Taylor Gabriel, slot guy, never been an outside guy, never been a top production guy, had some of his best years with Shanahan was there in Atlanta in the slot. Okay, burner, cool. You talk about Allen Robinson has one spot. Anthony Miller, now the wild card. Nagy has said he's going to start out in the slot. Now, that doesn't mean he's only a slot guy. Some people will say, of course, he's only a slot guy. Look at his size. I will point you to Antonio Brown. A lot of people will say, everybody's not Antonio Brown. That's an exception to the rule. And I agree with you. I'm not saying everybody that size is Antonio Brown or can be, but I will tell you that there's a blueprint out on how to use a guy that size. Or a blueprint on how a guy that size can win on the outside, and you can use him in different ways to be effective. Now, on top of that, I've always said Anthony Miller reminded me of Antonio Brown as far as his skill set when I was critiquing him during the draft. So it's not a coincidence. I think he has that type of skill set. Now, will he start there? I don't think so. Like I said, Nagy said he's going to start in the slot. They'll move him around. They'll do different things. And he's a rookie. And he's coming off injury. I don't think he's going to be lining up on the outside day one. I think as he progresses through his career, he can become that. But right now, no. And so, who is that other guy? I know a lot of people like the Benny Fowler signing, which is cool. He's got potential. He hasn't shown anything up until this point in his career as far as demanding a number or outside spot. So then you got Kevin White, over 6 feet, 4.3 type speed, built like a brick. All the things that you drafted him for, and he's starting to put it together in training camp or minicamp. Is this what you want to go forward with? And I say, why not? I'm not saying week 17, Kevin White better be the starter. I'm saying week 1, why not go out into it? I mean, Kevin White went into this season on the field too, or was going into the season on the field. And so it's not like they were planning on hiding him. It's not like they ever planned on hiding him. When he's healthy, they plan on putting him out there. And again, he's on the books. We already talked about it makes no sense to cut him, so they're going to keep him and let him prove it. He gets hurt. There's another story. You might see more 2 tight end formations with Burton and Shaheen. But going into the season, who do you think is that other outside receiver? It's got to be Kevin White. And so I think people that are poo-pooing him just need to prepare for the fact that he might be the opposite start of Allen Robinson. Now, we're going to be in a lot of 3 receiver sets, most likely. So Taylor Gabriel is going to be on the field, but we're talking about who's going to be able to be that down in and down out outside guy. And right now it's Kevin White. We lost Cam Meredith. It is what it is. I mean, I've made my discussion about that and what I feel about Ryan Pace messing that up, but we lost Cam Meredith, and so Kevin White is the other guy. And so I don't see any 2 ways about it going into the early part of the season. So that's me, and I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm ready to see what he can do, and I want to see if he can actually show out those new abilities that people were seeing in the offseason. So anyway, I want to hear what you guys got to say. Go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about this news that Kevin White looks like a beast in training camp, or mini camp, I should say. Do you think it's going to translate to the game? Do you think he's going to start? Is there another guy you think that starts opposite Allen Robinson? Go to the comment section. Let me know. Thumbs up, subscribe. Share it around, get the convo started, and remember, stay up and bear down.